K, and then we have Q, then L, and we have not M, and we have R, then L. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look for what I need, K, and I see a K right here. Okay. It is part of a disjunction. So think of this as blah. Blah or K. How do I get the K? I find a not blah, and I get a K by disjunctive syllogism. Okay? So what I need is the opposite of this thing. So I need this whole thing without that negation. Okay? Now if we look for that big old blob of a thing, we don't see it. Okay? But we can build it, right? If we had L and not M, we could add on the or O. And since this is a conjunction, I can go get the L by itself, and I could go get the M, not M by itself, and put them together, okay? And then I could add the O. So I can build the opposite of this easily, I think, okay? First things first, I need an L. So I look for an L, and there's one, and there's one, okay? Now, last time I told you there's this trick, or not trick, it's a clue. When you're looking for something, in this case an L, and we see it as a consequent in a conditional, in two different conditionals, you're going to use a simple dilemma to get it, 99 out of 100 times. So what that means is we need Q or R to get it, okay? And guess what we have? We have a Q or R. So if I look at 1, I look at 3, and I look at 5, this says Q or R. If I have a Q, I get an L. If I have an R, I get an L. What am I getting? L. That's line 6, and that came from 1, 3, and 5. 1, 3, and 5, and that's simple dilemma. Now I got my L. I need L and not M. I have a not M right here, so let me just conjoin these. L and not M from 4 and 6 by conjunction. I'm conjoining them, okay? I need the opposite of this thing, so I need the or O part too. So I'm just going to add that on. L and not M or O, that comes from 7 by addition. Remember, if we have box, we can say box or whatever we want. Okay, so that's all I did. So I added this on. Okay, this thing is now the opposite of this. So I can do my disjunctive syllogism to get the K. So 9 is K from 2 and 8, 2 and 8, disjunctive syllogism. Okay. Any questions about that problem? Let me do problem 41. Okay, 41, prove W. Okay, and we have A and Z. We have 2, which is not X. We have 3, which is not R or S. Then not A and X. Oops, A and not X. Don't let me make a mistake. If I make one little tiny mistake writing it down, the problem might be unsolvable. 4 R, then W, and 5 is S then W. Okay, then we got to get W. Okay. So we look around for W in the premises, there it is, but there it is again. And notice they're both what? In the consequence. They're in the consequence of conditionals. So if I had R or S, I could get W by simple dilemma. Do I have R or S?
I can't really say.
Oh, it's bend my wrist and it hits the button and she starts listening. Okay, I don't have R or S, so I look for its opposite in an antecedent right there. Why do I look for that? Because if I can get the opposite of this, which would be A and not X, then I could do a modus tollens and get R or S. So let me see. Do I have an A and an X? An A and a not X? I don't, but I notice that this is an and, so if I go get the A and I get the not X separately, I can put them together. Well, look at line 1. There's A and Z. They're joined by an and, which means I can break off the A part. So I can say A from 1 by simplification, okay? So I got that part. Now I need a not X. Well, there's a not X right there. So let me just put those together. A and not X, and that's from 2 and 6, and that's called conjunction. We can join them, okay? All right, so why did I get this? Because this is the opposite of that, so I can do modus tollens and get the opposite of this. The opposite of not R or S is R or S, so I get R or S, and that came from 3 and 7, modus tollens, okay? Why did I get that? Because I noticed right in the very beginning that if I had R or S, I could do a simple dilemma with 4 and 5 to get W. So W, 4, 5, 8. 4, 5, 8, simple dilemma, and I'm done. Okay. So, how many of you feel like I'm drowning? Okay, a pretty fair number. And now, how many people actually were doing all the even problems from 5.2? Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. So this is what we're going to do. I want you guys to break into groups of 2 to 4 persons, okay? And I want you to start working the even problems, starting back with problem 2, okay? If you get stuck, you call me over and I help you. If you think you got the answer but you're not sure, you call me over and I validate it. And you start working on these together. Does everybody understand that? You must do these problems. Otherwise, you'll be hopeless on the test, right? And they will get very difficult, but remember, I'm not going to ask you to be able to do the most difficult of the problems, and we haven't even really gotten to the tough ones yet. But we have set aside a big chunk of time for this chapter, so we'll be doing these problems over and over and over again, okay, until we all start getting it. We can only get it if we're doing them, so break into the groups and call me over as needed. Where's the attendance sheet? Back here. And if you haven't signed the attendance sheet already, come up and sign. Otherwise, get into a group with another person or more and start working on these problems and call me over. So Caleb.